Soundara Rajam Ashraye Soundara Rajam Ashraye Gaja Brindavana Saranga Rajam Soundara Rajam Ashraye
Soundara Rajam Ashraye. Muddusvami Dikshitar begins his Kirtanam with the name of the presiding deity here at the Soundara Raja Perumal Koil at Nagapattinam.
One of the Divyadesams, one amongst the 40 Divyadesams of the Chola country, having been visited by Thirumangai Alvar around the 8th, 9th century, who has fallen in love with this beautiful Kshetram and the Perumal and had composed some wonderful verses in Tamil. Dikshitar, as you said, in his own way, starts the composition with the name of the Perumal, addressing it directly to him. And he says, I fall at your feet, Ashraye. The Sharanagati concept of the Vaishnava tradition, he just performs it here. He says, I'm not worthy of protecting myself. I'm not attempting it. Because you are the one who's responsible for all that is happening here. It is on you to protect me. I seek refuge in you. And he falls flat. The surrender, Ashraye, that he performs.
And the musical phrase used for Ashraye while you were referring to the concept of surrender, it was interesting. Ashraye. It's almost a surrender into the Shadjam. And it goes on to Gaja Brindavana Saranga Rajam.
I think when you talk about surrender, the most popular episode to quote as an example is the Gajendra Moksham. This Gajendra was the leader of the herd of elephants who resided in a forest.
That is a Gaja Brindavana.
The Gaja Brindavana. And Sarangam also means an elephant. So he's the leader of the herd of elephants. So he was one fine morning as he was trying to pick some flowers from the tank, he was caught by a crocodile. And he cried out for help. He first tried protecting himself, fighting with the crocodile. Since it didn't work, he called for help. He called his wives, his children, his friends, relatives, everybody. Some of them attempted to come close to check out on him, but knowing that it was too much to take care of, they just quit. And that is when he understood the nature of the universe. And he said, if there is this one person who's ultimate, the one who's the root cause for all that is happening around me, may he come in now, interrupt and protect me. And that is when he calls out to Adi Moolam, the root cause for all of it. And Perumal comes and protects him that moment.
Now this composition is set to the Raga Brindavani, according to the Sangeeta Sampradaya Pradarshini. But Subramanya Dikshitar also mentions that those who know tradition also refer to this Raga as Brindavana Saranga. Now this Raga, Brindavani or Brindavana Saranga, is listed as an Audava, Bhashanga, Janya Raga of the 22nd Mela, Sri Raga, in the Venkatamakin Parampara. Brindavani is an Audava Raga, which means it has 5 swaras in the Arohana and Avarohana. Ri ma pa ni sa, sa ni pa ma ri sa. The Murchana begins with a Ri, Rishabhaswara, and so does the composition. Soundara Ri ga ri sa. Now this Gandhara is not listed in the Murchana of this Raga, but it is clearly mentioned that this Ri Garisa or Sa Garisa can occur in Brindavana Saranga. And Muthuswami Dikshitar employs this phrase at a couple of instances in this composition very beautifully. Now when you look up this Raga in the Sangeeta Sampradaya Pradarshini of Subramanya Dikshitars, you see that there is a Geetam attributed to Venkatamakhin. That Geetam does not have the Gandhara Swara. Then of course there is a Dikshitar Kirtanam, Soundara Rajam Ashraye. Then there is a Kirtanam of Kumara Ettappa Maharaja.
The king
The king.
of Ettapuram.
called Kamalasanadi, which is also in Brindavana Saranga or Brindavani Raga. There also we see one or two instances of the Gandhara Swara. And then, of course, there is a Sanchari of Subrahma Dikshitar, which is a summary of all of the phrases that can occur in this raga.
Nandana Rajam Nagapattinam Rajam.
The Anupallavi also begins from the Rishabhaswara, the Re. Nanda Nandana Rajam, Nagapattana Rajam.
The one who is always happy. That's a direct meaning. Nanda Nandana Rajam. He makes us all happy. The other hand, he also gave this eternal happiness to Nandagopa, who got this opportunity of raising him as Krishna.
Nagapattana Rajam.
He is the king of Nagapattinam, this beautiful ancient town, a coastal town in fact, which by itself gives us a clue that it should be very rich. And he is the king of Nagapattinam. And the residence of a king or the illam of a ko becomes Koil. Ko directly means a king. And he is the king. Sundari Rama Rajam. He is the consort of Rama with a special attribute here as Sundari. Because the Tayar here, or the Mahalakshmi in this shrine, she is called as Sundaravalli, Saundaryavalli. Because he is Saundarya Rajan, she becomes Saundaravalli, and hence Sundari Rama Rajam. Sura Vinutam. He is prayed to by all the Suras, the celestials, the Devas. And Ahirajam. He is the king of Adisesha, and thereby, as an extension, the king of all the snakes.
And the musical symmetry is very interesting. Nandana Tari. That is the phrase. Nagapa Tari. 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 Then it goes into the Madhyama Kala section, as we call it. Mandasmitha Mukambujam, Mandaradhara Karambujam, Nandakara Nayanambujam, Sundaratara Padambujam.
Starting from the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutram also states that the one who you identify as Parabrahman has the face which resembles a fully bloomed lotus. His eyes are so is the smile that he spots. His hands and feet, they're all like lotus or ambujam. I think Dikshitar is, of course, influenced by these words from the Brahma Sutras. Interestingly, this is a Divya Desam, and which means it has been visited by an Alvar from around the 8th, 9th century. And in this case, it is the last in the list of 12 Alvars. Thirumangai Alvar, who had come here, fell in love with the beauty of this Perumal and had composed a set of beautiful songs where he calls him as Nagai Alagiyar, the most handsome one from Nagapattinam.
Soundara Rajam.
Soundara Rajan. And Thirumangai Alvar elsewhere describes the attributes of Perumal, and again inspired from the verses of the Upanishads and the Brahma Sutram. He says, Kaivannam Tamarai, Vai Kamalam Polum, Kanninayum Aravindam, Adiyum Agde. Interestingly, Thirumangai Alvar is also inspired by the verses from the Upanishads and the Brahma Sutram, which describes Parabrahman, with comparing it with the lotus as a symbol there. And the 4 attributes, the eyes, the smile, hands and feet. Dikshitar just gets that inspiration from there, and very much like Thirumangai Alvar, who had composed on this Perumal, compares the smile of Soundara Raja with Ambujam. Mantasmita Mukambujam, the smile that is like a lotus just flowering in front of us. And then Mandaradhara Karambujam, the hands that are compared to the lotus, they are very tender and soft, but when the devotees were in need, this hand, which is like as tender as a lotus, managed to lift the Govardhana Parvatam, the mountain, and gave them all shelter. Mantasmita Mukambujam, Mandaradhara Karambujam.
Nandakara Nayanambujam.
The eyes are also like lotus. As Alvar says, Kanninayum Aravindam. The eyes are like lotus again, literally just translated. And Adiyum Agde, or the Padambujam, the feet.
Nagapattinam is also particularly of importance because not necessarily this Sannidhi, but the city has been sung by all the 3 members of the musical trinity, as we call them. Tyagaraja has sung, Muddusvami Dikshitar, and Shama Shastri. Tyagaraja sings on the Nilai Takshi, so does Shama Shastri. Muddusvami Dikshitar sings not only on the Nilai Takshi and Kaya Rohanesha, but also on this Soundara Raja Perumal.
Shambara Vairi Janakam Shambara
Shambara Vairi Janakam.
The one who caused the birth of enemy of Shambara. Vairi is enemy, or between whom there was enmity. Shambara is this lesser known character from the Puranas who is a demon and who had promised to kill the son of Krishna and Rukmini, who is Pradyumna. So a lot of drama happens and finally Pradyumna emerges victorious. He kills Shambara. Pradyumna is believed to be an incarnation of Manmata. And we can recall the Stalapuranam of Thiruvarur, to which Dikshitar had a very fond love, where Manmata was born by the blessings of Tyagaraja to Mahavishnu and Lakshmi.
Sannuta Shuka Shaunakam.
The one who is praised by Shuka and Saunaka, the rishis.
Ambarishadi Viditam.
We all know how Ambarisha, this king, was protected by the Sudarshana Chakra of Mahavishnu when Durvasa had brought in a curse there. And so he is the one who has been understood, the praise of who has been understood well by Ambarisha.
Anadi Guru Guha Muditam. Of course, the Guru Guha Mudra comes there.
And here the meaning goes like the one who enjoys the company of Guru Guha or Subramanya, who is eternal. Or Mudduswami Dikshitar himself, to be such a great devotee and to compose, whose company would Soundara Raja enjoy than a composer of this rank?
So in a typical Dikshitar Kirtanam Charanam format, these Charanams do not lend themselves easily to repeating every musical line twice, every Avartanam twice. One needs to follow the musical flow and repeat the entire musical flow. So if you see in the construction of the Charanam thus far, it starts off with the Rishabhaswaram. Shambara Vairi Janakam Sannuta Shuka Shaunakam Ambarishadi Viditam Anadi Guru Guha Muditam. Comes back to Sa. So this whole thing, this is the musical flow. Then it again begins a second flight. Ambujasanadi Nutam.
The one who is again praised by Ambujasana, who is Brahma.
Amareshadi Sannutam.
The one who is praised by Indra and the group of celestials.
We must mention here that in the available editions of the Sangeeta Sampradaya Pradarshini of Subrahma Dikshitars, from the Telugu original in fact, we do not find a Sahityam below the swaras corresponding to Sannutam. So it just says Amareshadi and then there is a swara passage. Probably a printer's devil. Right? But it is normally accepted today that the best suited word for that is probably Sannutam. So Amareshadi Sannutam. Ambudhi Garva Nigraham.
This is another important episode from the Ramayana where the Samudra Raja, the mighty ocean, Ambudhi, was requested by Rama to help him cross the ocean when he was in search of Sita. Fearing the punishments of Ravana, the Samudra Raja didn't respond to Rama. Rama waited for quite some time, and when he lost his cool, he asked Lakshmana to get his bow and arrow and promised to dry the entire ocean. And that is when Samudra Raja, along with his wives, came and fell at the feet of Rama or performed a Charanagati, requested him to pardon him and promised to help him in whatever way possible. So the Garvam or the arrogance of Samudra Raja to keep quiet, even when it was none but Rama himself who had come with a request, instead of acknowledging it, he kept quiet. So that was destroyed by you. And this is a very apt phrase to be used in a composition on Nagapattinam, which is right on the coastal front.
It suffers till date whenever there are calamities due to rain, floods.
Pretty much every year. The monsoons are quite challenging in this particular town.
Anrita Jada Dukkhapaham.
The one who helps you come over dukkha, which is miseries, which is caused by untrue experiences that you get. Jata, that which is lifeless. So the connect that you have with this physical world, which is actually meaningless, which keeps changing, and hence you should come over it. And in order to win this over and thereby winning over miseries is a blessing by Soundara Raja Perumal. The exact opposite of Sat Chit and Anandam.
Kambu Vidambana Kantham.
The one whose throat or neck is as beautiful as a conch. Again, a reference to something that's from the oceans.
Khandi Krita Dasha Kantham.
The one who managed to chop off the 10-headed Ravana. Again, a reference to Ramayana, which is of course Sri Lanka and the ocean connect.
Tumburu Nuta Shri Kantham.
The one who is again with this beautiful neck, praised too by Tumburu, the Bhagavata, who is always a twin of Narada. He's always compared or brought in together with Narada.
Interestingly, where this musical reference, Tumburu, because it's associated with Narada and music, you find the Gandhara usage. Tumburu Nuta Shri Kantham. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful phrases in this Kirtanam, if you say. You also find the Gandharam. So the Gandharam comes in the beginning. Soundara Riga Risa Tumburu. The symmetrical phrase in the Tarasthai. Tumburu Nuta Shri Kantham Durita Apaha Vaikuntham.
The one who is an eternal resident of Vaikunta, who also blesses his residence there by cleansing us of all the sins that we have acquired.
There is a running theme of surrender, of shelter, of Sharanagati throughout this Kirtanam.
Totally. I think the sea and the uproar from there and the Sharanagati, all of this reminds me of this catastrophe from 2004 December, the tsunami as it hit the east coast of South India, and Nagapattinam was one of those worst hit areas. And we just heard from the priest that several hundreds of people took shelter in the temple on that day. When everything was chaotic and no place to run for shelter,
for several days,
the temple doors were opened, and for several days this was their residence.
We also see the phrase Mamekam Sharanam Vraja inscribed inside the Moolavar Sannidhi also.
Right on his palms. On his right palm with diamond studded.
From the Bhagavad Gita.
From the Bhagavad Gita. The phrase from Bhagavad Gita, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Seek surrender in me and only in me.
I think one can only wonder at the beauty that is the underlying theme in this whole thing. The beauty of the Perumal, Soundara Rajam, the beauty of the Raga, Brindavana Saranga, and one can only hope to surrender and in a feeling of Sharanagati to this wonderful Kirtanam and this wonderful composition.
Soundara Rajam Ashraye सुन्दरी रामराजं सुरविनुतमहीराजं मन्दस्मितमुखाम्बुजम् मन्दस्मितमुखाम्बुजं मन्दरधर कराम्बुजं नन्दकर नयनाम्बुजं सुन्दरधरपदाम्बुजं मन्दस्मितमुखाम्बुजं मन्दरधर कराम्बुजं नन्दकरनयनाम्बुजं सुन्दरतरपदाम्बुजं मन्दस्मितमुखाम्बुजं मन्दरधर कराम्बुजं नन्दकरनयनाम्बुजं सुन्दरतरपदाम्बुजं सौन्दरराजम् आश्रये शम्बर वैरिजनकम् शम्बर वैरिजनकम् सन्मुतशुकशौनकम् अम्बरीषादिविदितम् अनादिगुरुः मुदितम् अम्बुधि गर्वनि ग्रहम् अमृत जड दुःखपहम् कम्बुविडम्बनकण्ठं खण्डीकृतदशकण्ठं कम्बुविडम्बनकण्ठं खण्डीकृतदशकण्ठं तुम्बुरुनुत श्रीकण्ठं